The prophetical books, chapter 14, Isaiah, Malachi. Prophecy gets a grip on us like nothing else. We are mesmerised and spellbound by it. What does the future hold? Some look into crystal balls, read tea leaves, study astrological charts, and consult prophets for a glimpse into the unknown. From when will the world end to what should I wear tomorrow? They hunger on probe into the depths of that which has not yet happened. There is an intuitive sense that a veil hangs between the human and the divine, and that prophets will help us peer beyond the veil. Outside of the Bible, however, prophets have had an uneven track record. Croesus lived in the 6th century before Christ and was king of Lydia in Asia Minor, deliberating whether to attack the Persian Empire. He asked the oracle at Delphi if the undertaking would prosper. The oracle replied that if he went to war, he would destroy a great empire. Encouraged, Croesus invaded the Persian realms. He was decisively beaten, and the Persian then invaded Lydia, captured in capital, and threw Croesus himself into chains. Croesus again sent a emissary to Delphi, this time with the question, "Why did you deceive me?" The priestess of the oracle replied that she had deceived him. Croesus had indeed destroyed a great empire. Girolamo Cardano, an Italian mathematician of the 16th century, was known throughout Europe as an astrologer, even visiting England to cast the horoscope of the young king, Edward VI. A steadfast believer in the accuracy of his so-called science, Cardano constructed a horoscope predicting the hour of his own death. When the day dawned, it found him in good health and safe from harm. Rather than have his prediction fail, Cardano killed himself. Biblical prophets find themselves in a different league. However, if a man was a true prophet from God, no prediction of this would ever fail. If a prophet ever voiced a prophecy that failed, he was to be stoned to death. This discouraged the impostors and made the biblical prophets highly reliable. There were many true prophets in the Old Testament, but not all of them committed their message to writings that were preserved in the Bible. We have 16 men who wrote down their messages. These writings are called the prophetical books, and they comprise the final 16 books of the Old Testament, as seen in the review below. Now let's review. The repetition is the key to mental ownership. The structure of the Old Testament is historical: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, and Judges. And the poetical are Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. The prophetical are Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, and Joel. So let's do the story of the Old Testament. What is the historical name for Ruth? Is prophetical is Amos. Now, 1 Samuel, what is the poetical book for Obadiah? 2 Samuel, the poetical book for Jonah. 1 Kings, the poetical book. Fill in the blank for the poetical book. For Micah, and 2 Kings for Nahum, and 1 Chronicles for Habakkuk, and 2 Chronicles for Zephaniah, and Ezra right in the poetical book for Haggai, and Nehemiah right in the poetical book for Zechariah, and right in the poetical book for Esther is Malachi. Now, our history of completed from Genesis, the first historical book, in Nehemiah, the last historical book. We stretched out a timeline that told the story of another Israel, of an ancient Israel. Then we dropped the poetical books to their proper place. Now we do the same with the prophetical books as seen below. Okay, so the 12 of the prophetical books were written during the time covered in the book of 2 Kings, which records the decline of the nations of Israel and Judah. This is because the primary message of the prophets was to the nations to stop sinning and return to the Lord. The prophets predicted that what would happen to the nations if the people did not heed the warning, or the remaining books. 2 prophets, Ezekiel and Daniel, ministered during the exile and the free. Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi during the return. Now let's do an overview summary. The prophecy is proclaiming the word of God, both for the future and in the present. Now fill in the blanks of the review. The prophecy is blank, the word of God, both for the blank and in the blank. Now let's do an expansion. There are 4 main features of the prophetical writings. 1 is designation, 2 is time period, 3 is foretelling, and 4 is foretelling.